Hello, this is Danielian, and welcome to my CS2 Game of Life final for Professor Barkishli's class. Here is my game. When the user starts, it loads up the previously fully saved grid pattern. This is my start button, and when it's clicked, it fades a bit, and it becomes the step button. So the user could click it after that and would generate one generation only when it's paused. This is my pause and play button. When the user clicks it, and it functions for left clicks only, it would pause the entire game, or it would play the entire game if it's already paused. This is for random and clearing. If the user left clicks this button, it will generate 50 random cells, and if the user right clicks this button, it's going to clear the entire grid and set the game to pause. This button is for saving and loading. If the user left clicks this button, it will save the entire grid and overwrite the base save file. That saves it to the entire grid. And if the user right clicks this, it's going to load that entire configuration and overwrite the current grid. And it would also set it to paused. So these 9 buttons are for the save files, and I'll touch up on that in a second. So the user could start it, like so, and you could pause. If you wanted to save something, let's say a glider, so you can make a glider right now by clicking down on the grid. If you wanted to delete a cell, you could just click on the cell like this. So the user could click the middle mouse button, and it's going to initialize 2 points X and Y on the grid. They drag it over and let it go, and it would initialize the final set of positions. For the user to save this somewhere, they have to left click on one of these boxes. So they could left click on this one, I would, and that's what it saves in. When you initialize a position, you could load it in, and that's the code that loads in. You could also be very precise and save over cells as well. So if you had something like this, you could click on this position, drag it over, and end on a cell. And when you save it, it will save it that way as well. So you could do this and load it, and it would load it exactly like so, without overwriting much. So you could play. If a cell encounters the final part of the grid, it's going to die. It's the killer plane. And here I'll demonstrate the random button. The random button doesn't work when the game is playing. You have to pause the game, and then it would generate 50 random cells. It also always generates 50 random cells. It skips over live cells if it's generating it on that position, and it also does not generate outside of the grid. It's always within bounds. So yeah, you could do this. I'm not going to pick that one. There is nothing in that one. There was something in this. There's a glider here. Yeah. You could also do like single position for saving. So I could save it here, and that's what it's saving. I could paste it back, or not. I accidentally overwrote it. There you go. I'll do it there too. You could clear the grid, and you could load the previously saved grid from earlier. Okay, this was my CS2 project for Professor Barkishli's class. It was Game of Life. My name is Danielian, and thank you for watching.